Let's just start here. I love you guys. I had big plans in the last video to talk about Manchester City and Raheem Sterling and a little bit of Wayne Rooney finally playing well enough to earn their fat paychecks. And I don't know, I just don't know what happened. But thankfully, you guys were there to have my back. So Greg, Impai, and Alex, thank you. Also, I forgot to offer up a no mames way to Club America after they got whatted by Chivas Guadalajara. But again, you guys were there, you had my back. So Zolda and Bapton, thank you, I really appreciate it. But it won't happen again. I'm gonna be no mames Wayne and whatting and Hoovercrafting for the rest of my, and hold on a second. Hold on. It's Ben's mom. And I will be doing a little thing that I like to call two things. First up, Joe Hart. Despite it only being a loan to the second best team in Torino, the Manchester City goalkeeper will never be going back to the club that he captained and won trophies and made history with. New City manager Pep Guardiola doesn't care about the sentimental feelings of the fans and what makes them feel all warm and fuzzy, nor does he care about Joe Hart's feelings for that matter, because this is a business and the business is winning, and Pep doesn't think he needs Hart to win. He thinks you need good feet and a brain. So a club legend is out. He's heading to the wild lands of the middle of the table in Italy. So here are my two things. One. Sadly, I have gone through this. I know how this feels. I played for Kansas City for 8 years, and during the last year of my contract, not one person from the club came up to me to talk about my future. So naturally, I was a little bit nervous about what the future held. But after the season was over, they were going through a significant name change and a color change from Kansas City Wizards to Sporting Kansas City. And they paraded me in front of all the fans and all the new gear. So I was excited. That was really positive. I'm like, all right, we're gonna work this out. But then nothing. Not one person called me from the coaching staff. And it's the same coaching staff that's there now to say, hey, listen, we're going in a different direction. Thank you for everything and good luck in the future. So I reluctantly signed with another team, and I was bitter at first, as I'm sure Joe Hart is. But then you learn that this is a business, and when everything is going well, loyalty and friendship are number one. And when things aren't going well, if you're too old, or if you're injured a lot, or if you cost a lot, it's a business. Two. If it makes Joe feel any better, at least he can take some solace in knowing that World Cup winner Bastian Schweinsteiger and his good friend Jack Wilshere are going through the same thing. So hopefully all of these guys and all the other players that I haven't mentioned that are feeling the same way can take these feelings of being unwanted and turn them into something positive. Also, I think it's important that English players start playing outside of England. So maybe this is the first step towards that happening with more frequency. Next up, David Luiz. The most expensive transfer in the history of defenders after leaving Chelsea to join PSG is now set to leave PSG to rejoin Chelsea. One. What? Two. I'm not sure what his best position is, and I have no idea why manager Antonio Conte feels like he needs him in his team, but I do know that he's an awesome guy, and I do know that the fans love him, so why not? Because this is about the fans, right? I mean, this is a business, right? I mean, what? And finally, the controversial goalkeeper for the US women's national team, Hope Solo. If you've been living under a rock, or like me, you don't really care about this Hope Solo saga, including this final straw of her comments calling her opponents cowards after the women lost in the Olympics, which apparently was enough to break US soccer's back as they suspended her for 6 months and terminated her contract, which has to end her national team career, then just skip this part of the video. But I can't skip it because it refuses to leave my brain. One. My disappointment around this is wide-ranging, and no one is free from a little bit of responsibility, but let's start with the person right in the center of it, Hope. You yourself created this mess by your actions and comments over the years, and now the universe is balancing itself out, and you have to face up to the consequences of your poor decisions. Being stud goalkeeper Hope Solo isn't going to get you out of stuff anymore, and it shouldn't have in the first place. Also, to show some empathy, I was very sad to see the video where you realize that your career with the national team is over. It's a harsh reality to face when it's done. In fact, I got a red card in my last game for my country. I didn't know it at the time it was gonna be my last game. I thought I'd get called back in, but I never did. And that was it. It was over. And I realized that only a few players get that happy ending to their career. It's all dramatic and the music and end it with a championship or a World Cup or whatever. It's just an ending. Because, like I said earlier, sports is a business. I mean, it's for the fans.
2.
I'm a little disappointed in US soccer. Now, I'm sure they were doing a lot of things behind the scenes to help her, so I don't want to discount their kindness or their willingness to be loyal to a player during a difficult time. But this player has publicly disrespected her own coaches and teammates, coaches and players from other countries, whole other countries, been charged with domestic abuse, and was in the car when her husband got a DUI in a US soccer team van, and she got pass after pass after pass to stay on the team. And now after she makes remarks that weren't the classiest, they weren't the end of the world, and now is when you decide to kick her off the team when she's 35 and at the end of her career? I just wish they would have done this a little earlier when some of the more serious things surrounding her off the field were happening, no matter if there was an important competition like the World Cup or the Olympics coming up, because now it just feels like interesting and convenient timing. But what do I know about anything? Not much. So what do you guys think? Do clubs really owe players anything? Do players really owe clubs anything? Is loyalty dead in sports? Did it ever exist in the first place? Let me know your beautiful opinions in the comments, and I'll see you tomorrow. Later.